It's high-speed business at a record pace.
Get 70 miles per gallon on this one. It's a ship that made the castle.
I didn't see that episode
You
of YouTube.
can't do that.
No, I was the Numa Numa guy. Or the History of Dance.
The history of dance.
Remember that dance?
Oh, I do remember that.
Orange shirt guy. That was the first like YouTube video I saw, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
don't
remember
know.
that.
I don't know the llama hat video.
Llamas with hats.
Llamas with hats.
For those of our listeners that are just tuning in,
yeah.
if
This
you've
is going,
seen llamas with hats,
we're going to be doing a 45-minute breakdown of Llamas with Hats episode, season 1 of YouTube.
Yeah.
I am still working through season 1 of YouTube. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
And the seasons have stacked up. And I am way behind.
The truth is that Max is just discovering E-Bomb's world. He's still early days.
How did E-Bomb's World lose the battle?
With Aisha, the question still remains. Do you remember the Aisha music video? It's that Aisha.
Oh, yeah.
Aisha.
Weird.
Do you remember that?
That
It's
is
55.
weird.
I mean, E-Bomb's world
That is what
Through
a
a-
throwback.
through a phase.
Well, welcome to the fast ones. Mark your attendance.
yeah,
in the
please
chat.
make your presence known as typical.
My name is Max, and I'm here with my buddy Mike.
Cheers.
We talk about motorsport. We talk about E-Bomb's World. We talk about season 1 of YouTube, which we're still trying to get through.
What have you do?
I think it's on season 19 now
Of our show or of YouTube?
and I think this year there are 3 trillion new episodes just in this newest season. It's hard. It's a rough series to get
It's
into.
a library.
It's a rough
Could
series.
you imagine if Criterion Collection started being like, you have to watch YouTube season 6. There's only
Can you
7
imagine
trillion.
if YouTube only let you watch the videos in order that they were released?
Gosh, I just want to see that replay from
We
that
would not
sport.
have our dozens of watchers.
It would be rough for them to find our content
Yeah.
in the mix.
But
I'm grateful that that's not their algorithm.
other podcasts wouldn't have listeners either or viewers either. So
Somehow they do.
Win, lose.
Somehow
win.
they do. And we're not sure how, which we will dive into at some point.
But this week we have a lot to talk about. The Australian Grand Prix is happening again.
The Australians really thought that they didn't get a good pass this
They're
first
it
race.
rained a lot. Can we get a redo on this?
Mate, it doesn't rain yet. We're not sure what happened, but that race, that was not an
That's a
Australian
bit
Grand
rough.
Prix.
Think we can get a redo on the race?
I remember one year,
Oscar didn't even get on the podium.
it wasn't even a bloody Australian on the podium. This is his bloody home race. Crying out loud.
And they got it. But it's
Yeah.
actually being held in Austria.
Yeah, it's the Australian Grand Prix.
It's redo in Austria at the
In
Austrian
Toto's
track.
country.
In Toto's country.
Yeah, Todios.
Toto's country. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to be on the podcast today.
Yes. You look
I'm just a little too quick on the words.
Yes.
Mike's lovely wife got us Diet Coke.
This is diet sodas. Strong
and,
stuff.
And it's from a good source. It's from McDonald's, sponsor of the show.
The Golden Arches.
New sponsor of the show, McDonald's.
Yes.
But it's really good. And maybe that's what's
decided-
getting me so excited.
We decided that we only choose sponsors that really fit fast ones. So really affordable. And that stops right there.
And-
That is
and
that
bubbly.
is- bubbly.
It goes down smooth.
And people like it.
Can you just say you're sponsored by people?
Yeah, I mean that's what we've been doing for 4 seasons.
Yeah,
of this.
Haas. We've been trying to get the Haas
3, 4?
sponsorship. Yeah.
107 episodes.
And now McDonald's. Friend of the show, McDonald's. Thank you.
Thank you, McDonald's.
Anyway, So we have the Austrian Grand Prix to look forward to this week. We might
do.
get to talking about that
At some
I
point.
do. I did watch a movie this weekend.
Okay.
Definitely wasn't a car movie, but
I'm curious to hear about
But then there's motorsport pop culture news that we need to dive into and get opinions from both of us.
Okay.
Because I know we will have strong opinions because honestly, this bit of pop culture is what got me into cars.
Okay.
Yeah, in my adult years.
Okay.
I remember being young and I had a big poster of a Dodge Viper on my wall. And I thought that was the coolest car.
Yeah.
And I had a Matchbox car of a red Dodge Viper. And I would just look at that.
Right.
And one day my mom took me to a dealership and I got to sit in the passenger seat of a Dodge Viper in the showroom.
This story is heartwarming.
Isn't
actually.
it?
That is very nice.
My mom,
of your
I don't know why we were at the dealership. I don't think she drove me there just to do that. We might have just been like, but she might have. And
might
we
have.
just sat in the Dodge Viper.
Let's live in this universe where your mom took
where
you
my
there
mom
on
loves
purpose.
me. She does. She does. My mom loves me.
For sure.
But we're not going to fake like she didn't because she might have. And honestly, the Dodge Viper is still a sexy looking car.
Well, in these days, they don't make it anymore. But
don't.
The final iteration of it,
Yeah.
before ceasing production, was only a few steps removed from a Ferrari.
Yeah.
The same company,
What do you mean?
Fiat,
Dodge and
Fiat Chrysler. They own Dodge. Fiat owns Dodge.
how does Fiat own these things? They're so their cars are so small.
There's this
They make like one car.
the Meredith car. It is called the Fiat 500. It
Okay.
had sold so many cars, just like Volkswagen, the Beetle, right?
I'm honestly kind of blown away and very interested in this.
But think
K,
about it.
KKK.
The car.
I mean, just 1K.
yeah, just 1K. None of three things. We don't want to confuse our listeners. Just 2Ks at the most. That's where we stop. You can't stop at 3 either. You have to go to 4.
Okay,
But
just 1K.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fiat
But
500.
Think about it this way: the Volkswagen Beetle was the top selling car after the Model T. So the Volkswagen Beetle sold more models than, any car prior to it.
Oh,
And so VW
yeah,
is the parent company, Volkswagen Auto Group, to Porsche,
yeah.
to Lamborghini, to Audi, right?
Yeah.
And Fiat, who had the 500, which was a competitor of the Beetle and of the Mini Cooper, sold like hotcakes in Italy and throughout the world. So Fiat raised to the top of the ladder of their industry and started buying up Ferrari and all these other companies, Alfa Romeo.
And they bought Chrysler.
They acquired, because I think it
at
was
what
partial
point?
mergers, but yeah.
That's wild.
I mean, at one stage, Chrysler's kind of we'll say the bastard child of the automotive world.
okay.
They've had a lot of partners. Maybe they're swingers.
I was gonna say, doesn't sound like that. It sounds like
They have pineapples in their cars,
yeah.
and they're from Daybreak, Utah.
They have a little break. They go out with GMC. They go hang out with Ford.
Well,
And then who knows what comes out?
Jeep was a GM at one point, and then they became Chrysler.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Then
of
you get a lot
weirdness
of
there.
weird cars coming out.
Yep.
When you start
But-
breeding.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Daimler and Chrysler were also a Daimler Chrysler brand at one point, which is how the Chrysler Crossfire is an AMG. It's a Mercedes AMG car with a Chrysler body.
That's wild.
Yeah, this happened.
And every time you've told me a lot of these like car things over the years,
Yeah.
where you'll say like this car actually has the engine of a Lamborghini,
Right.
but it's actually a Ford Focus.
Right,
And I'm
right.
like, oh, how is this possible? That's wild.
Yeah, so-
How much is this Crossfire now?
It's affordable.
Probably cheap.
It's affordable, but it's definitely still a Chrysler. You still look at the design language and go,
Yeah, okay, you still have to drive a Chrysler.
yeah, exactly. You pull up in your
That's too bad.
fake Mercedes SL convertible and roll the window down and say, "It's Britney, bitch." When
does
Kesha's
it-
playing.
But does it go fast?
Yeah, it's quick. It's definitely still a Mercedes SL
Interesting.
of
another.
sorts.
It's another interesting like what's under the hood surprise for cars.
Right.
There's a few of those that you've talked to me about, and I love finding those out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, but Fiat
Fiat,
owns Dodge.
crazy.
And so, and did for since like 2009, 2010 time period,
Yeah.
all the way through now. And so, when they were doing those later years of the Viper, is tied to that brand. It's tied to Alfa, to
Dang.
Ferrari, to great Italian
That's kind
supercars.
of crazy. And it's still kind of crazy to me that Fiat owns Dodge. They just seem like a giant American motor company.
Right. But
And
during the government bailout of the crisis, the financial crisis, GM took money and Dodge just sold to Fiat.
Wow.
And Ford, I don't think, took any bailout money. They were absorbed by Ford Europe.
Can you imagine if Fiat had bought Ford? That would have been a whole different ending to Ford v Ferrari.
Ford
Enzo would have been laughing.
Ford v Ferrari acquired later by Fiat. Not as catchy of a title.
Not the other way around. Because that's crazy.
Yeah, that would have been the ultimate middle finger to Ford for sure.
Okay, fun. There's your intro history lesson.
Yeah.
Has anyone checked in at the chat?
I haven't seen anyone, but admittedly, sometimes there are viewers. So hi, viewers.
Yeah, welcome everyone if you're just joining us.
I'll admit, I'll take a picture of this. Sometimes my iPad gets like stuck in between light and dark mode, and I don't know how it does it, and like text just fully disappears into the blackness. So
interesting.
It's
This
very
is why,
fun.
And that's why we need like another. We needed a third person here pushing buttons. Kevin,
Trash Panda 805 has joined us.
nice.
Thank you, Trash Panda, for being here.
The old raccoon.
Yes.
That's what they call him. Call them.
They're the
Boy
trash-
or girl. I don't know.
They're the Trash Pandas. Yeah. It doesn't have a gender. It's the whole race of raccoons.
Yeah, what was I saying? Anyway, yeah. Well, we need another producer. Kevin is our honorary producer. He's now reaching emeritus status.
Yes, and this is still his camera.
Yeah, he lets us use the camera. But yeah, we might need another producer at some point to push buttons for us.
Yeah, this is part of, as you've probably read in the title, at least, Trash Panda F1 podcasts suck, including ours. This is part of why ours sucks, is that we don't have a staple producer.
It's authentic. Okay. My top note this weekend,
Okay.
visiting the city of Kansas City.
Oh, yes.
Quickly learned that you can do everything in Kansas City in a day. And I was there for 4 days. But
That's a long time to be in
end up
Kansas City.
seeing Lilo and Stitch in theaters.
Oh!
The live action remake.
Oh. Ohana means family.
That's pretty good.
Of course. I mean,
pretty
you
good.
know, I have a problem with making voices.
It was... Yeah, there's no cars in that movie.
No.
I mean, she drives a truck and it breaks down, and then there's spaceships. It's not a car movie. It's not even car movie adjacent.
No.
But it was my first time seeing a Disney live action remake.
Oh, okay.
And honestly, like, the music in Lilo Stitch is great.
Yeah.
And the whole themes of family
Yeah.
are like heartwarming. And
Yeah.
it got me at a few moments.
In the place of the be, down in the surf, down in the sea. Yeah.
yeah.
It's got, you know, I have little kids. Yeah. Of course,
And
I know this.
I've been to a lot of the South Pacific Islands.
Yes.
It was like very heartwarming.
Yeah.
But there was this thing throughout the whole movie where it was a real movie. Live action movie,
Right.
Based off of a cartoon,
Right.
And a cartoon is just an artistic expression of real life,
Right.
So it was this weird thing where I could sense throughout the whole movie that they were humans acting like a cartoon, which was acting like real life. Because there were moments where they were trying to pull like a cartoon expression. I thought this doesn't work. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't need to dive more into that,
No.
but
Can't wait for How to Train Your Dragon. That movie, no
it looks
thanks.
exactly.
No thanks.
Yeah. But speaking of things that look like the real thing but feel different, the Grand Tour has new hosts.
Oh, jeez.
And that's my very large intro to let's talk about the Grand Tour and about Top Gear.
If we want to talk about not just F1 podcasts,
and the
that
weird
suck.
thing of why do you have to try and give this show new hosts every time that Jeremy leaves?
Yeah.
You will never be able to replace
It
it.
doesn't work.
It seems uncanny.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
I enjoyed Matt LeBlanc in Cars. I did enjoy Matt LeBlanc doing a review of a 911R. I remember when Top Gear went from being Top Gear with Jeremy and Richard and James, which is obviously the only way that show ever worked, to the next group of hosts. The 911R was the 991 version of the 911, which is we're in the 992 generation.
Okay.
So just the previous body of 911. They released a limited run of 911R models. And this car was really stripped down. It didn't have a radio. It was like the coolest, lightweight, ultimate Porsche.
Okay.
And it was based off of the original 911R, which was made in the 60s. Okay. But Matt LeBlanc did a review of this car. And I remember watching it, and he made a joke that was kind of like, and it's kind of nice to not have a stereo. And he takes a bite of like a turkey sandwich that's like really big and just puts it in the radio slot. And he goes, "This is the perfect place for a sandwich."
Yeah.
And I was like, that was the most Joey Tribbiani car review moment. And I was like, I get this gag.
Yeah.
This works as like a car review. And I respect him as a guy who can afford this car, which is another element all of in itself of why Top Gear worked. Jeremy bought Ford GTs when they came out. It's like, oh, when you review this car, I actually care what you have to say.
Yeah.
A lot of the time when we get around to these new hosts, it's the biggest problem for me is that I'm like, you can't buy this.
Yeah.
Why are you reviewing it?
Yeah. I mean, going back, if you haven't listened to or watched Top Gear, like you got me onto Top Gear when we were roommates. You got me onto Top Gear, and that
loved it.
started fueling like this fun passion for cars.
Right.
And I was totally introduced to this whole new world.
Yeah,
These
Max
three
had a Dodge Caravan at this stage in our lives.
Plymouth Grand Voyager. Plymouth Voyager.
Yeah, Plymouth Voyager, Dodge Caravan.
It was Cypress Green.
I mean, it was a heck of a DJ machine.
It was. It fit tons of speakers. So like I liked it.
It worked.
It worked.
Functional.
Yeah. I drive cooler cars now. Volvo wagon. Ever heard of it?
that Volvo.
That one doesn't work. That one doesn't work. But yeah, introduced to Top Gear, Jeremy, James, Richard, and it was amazing. It was so good. And they kind of defined what car shows should be.
What television shows should be.
Before them,
Right.
if you watch what Top Gear was before they brought on Jeremy Clarkson, they were struggling because no one liked it. And it was
boring.
It was like British people basically reading an article in the description of a car.
Right.
Like what you would see, like the specs, what it can do, who makes it. It was so boring.
Horrific.
And they changed everything.
Yeah.
And so when they leave Top Gear, they keep trying to kind of give them new hosts, and it will never work. You can't do that.
No.
And
Well,
I feel bad for anyway. Yeah, what are you gonna say?
No, I was gonna. I'm curious. Go ahead and finish that thought because the people who follow are
They
have a
have
death
the
sentence.
worst job.
Yeah.
Chris Evans was on a podcast giving an interview, and he talked about how Chris Evans is cool. Like you said, Matt LeBlanc is cool.
Right.
And just the fact that he is now under the Top Gear like umbrella, trying to act as a Jeremy Clarkson or like in any way fill that role, people hate him.
Right.
Like death threats. And like he wasn't expecting it. He's like, oh yeah, I'll be a host of the new Top Gear. And just nope, rejected. And it's like, well, you can't be Jeremy Clarkson. And these poor guys that are now going to be the new host of Grand Tour, which Grand Tour is basically Top Gear on Amazon. That's
Right.
all it was.
Right.
They just got the host and moved him over. And
it was a slight stab, a little jab at BBC by being like, instead of being TG, we're GT.
yeah.
Which I think is hilarious.
I didn't get that till now. Really?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Top Gear's just TG, and now they're just GT.
Gosh.
They literally did everything in their power to make the BBC pay for firing Jeremy for punching a producer.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
It's so stupid.
Okay. Well,
So anyways,
Easter egg. Had no idea. But the new guys. So the new hosts are the two guys from Throttle. If you watch Throttle on YouTube,
I actually have never, but I know of Throttle.
I've seen a bunch of their videos. They're good. And then the third guy is the kooky guy from TikTok that looks out for trains. Okay. He's weird.
Yeah.
And like he'll put the really big fisheye lens GoPro right on his forehead.
Yeah.
So you get this really obscured view of his face as he watches trains. Really nerdy, really weird.
So weird.
It's so weird. And so they have this like fun formula that they're going to try. And regardless of how cool these guys are or how unique and fun this guy's TikTok following is,
Yeah.
just because they're under the Grand Tour banner, it's going to fail.
It's going to struggle.
Give them a different show name and let that succeed.
Well, and I
let
think
Throttle have Throttle on Prime.
I would say that one of my things that I can even recall about Top Gear is that if you go back and you watch early seasons of when, James joins the show, because Richard and Jeremy had been doing it for a minute before James joined, or
Okay.
the other way around. I'm forgetting, so forgive me if I've got that incorrect. But that dynamic of the trio took time to establish. It took time for Jeremy and Richard to discover that James loved slow cars. And was like, why do you love that car? That's the Dacia Sandero. Like,
It's obsessed.
that joke wasn't funny when they started. This was just their car review show where James would occasionally talk about a Dacia Sandero, and then they'd just kind of be like, okay, anyway, so BMW, right? And then they would move on to something else. But their ability to feed off of each other is something that is so authentic. It's so genuine.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest problems. And when they've done Top Gear USA,
Yeah.
for instance, it's like, yeah, okay, we've got Dax Shepard this time. Dax is a great television personality,
Yeah.
and he can do pretty much anything, and it'll be entertaining to watch. Matt LeBlanc did the BBC, right? But they've had Tanner Faust and Rutledge Wood, and they've had all these other people who have kind of been on Top Gear America. But one of the things that sucks about that show
Yeah.
is that all of these guys are independently successful.
Yeah.
They didn't grow as a band. They weren't the Beatles. This is like making a supergroup with Mick Jagger and John Lennon and expecting it to just jive.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. When was the last time you listened to We Are the World? It's rough.
Yeah.
But it kind of is similar where who's the, like, I don't want to see Queen live. I know it's Brian May and like whatever,
right.
but and Roger Taylor, whoever, but it's like, it's not Freddie Mercury singing.
No.
Why do I want to see it?
It's Adam Lambert, isn't
Adam
it?
Lambert, the worst. But
an American Idol.
Yeah, it's and that's how it feels where you replace the lead singer of a band. It's like I don't care anymore.
Yeah, Journey.
It's Journey.
Yeah, and even though the Filipino kid that took over is probably arguably a better singer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Chicago, we've talked about. Unfortunately, an aging group that has a lot of replaced members in the group. And it just feels like a cover band anymore.
Steve Perry. It's Steve Perry, right?
Yeah.
The Voice. Isn't that what he calls himself? The Voice?
Yeah.
I mean, we're on 80s ballads right now.
There's only one song by this band as far as I'm concerned.
What,
We
Any
won't
Way
get
You
off
Want
the
It?
track. No.
Faithfully?
No.
Oh, what is it?
It's the...
What
what is it called? I always forget.
Desperate. No, it's
You know what song I'm talking about. It's in Tron. It's the Someday Love Will Find You. Yeah, that song rules.
Have you seen the music video?
No, it's so stupid.
Oh, it's the best stupid music videos. Because in the 80s, they didn't know what music videos
No,
were.
they were just like, we're going to perform on a camera.
That's all. They're like, okay, we're gonna take you to the docks. We have a warehouse.
Separate Ways is what it's
Separate
called.
Ways. I
Okay.
just like desperate.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
close.
yeah, you were
Separate
close.
Ways. They're filming it like this weird dock warehouse.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of like together singing the song.
Oh, I have seen this
And
music
then
video.
randomly their instruments will appear on them and then they'll disappear.
Yeah.
So they're like air guitaring and then all of a sudden the guitar appears and then they're not.
It is the most random music
Yeah.
video.
Some producer's like, yeah. Just we need this done by today. It's going out on this new thing MTV tonight. It needs to be
It's
done.
like you forgot to do your homework.
Yeah, they're like,
is how that music video
we're
was
gonna
produced.
we're gonna shoot half of it without instruments. Instruments
Worlds.
are coming.
Two Worlds might be a different name for it. It might be because I feel like it has like parentheses. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, the better music video for that is just the main character of Tron walking
Oh,
into
it's
the
called Separate Ways in quotes, Worlds Apart.
Worlds Apart.
This is your Journey song?
It's the dude.
I mean, good synth. Yeah. I mean, but how are you discounting like
No.
it's crazy that you said there's only one Journey song for you because there's epic Journey
like
songs.
that to me, and then maybe it's Joe Dirt that ruined it for me. I'll be completely honest.
Yeah.
But like, I just picture Kid Rock in a T-top Firebird, like pulling up in the dirt and just being like, "You're a loser. You're a loser, Joe." And just like listening to Boston and listening to Journey and these groups that I
and
just
it ruined you for every Journey song except for Separate Ways.
I just love like, and I know Henry Wallace will agree with me on
Will
this.
he?
Yeah, maybe. But I feel like he's a Lemmy guy. He likes Motorhead. So I'm just gonna say that like when we start talking like Thin Lizzy or Deep Purple or some of the groups from that era that were just authentic, rad rock and roll. And then
Yeah.
the pop groups.
This is pop rock, for
Definitely
sure.
huge pop groups.
Yeah.
I just like, oh, I love I love that Deep Purple Thin Lizzy stuff. And it just kind of craps all over Boston and stuff for me. That's all I'm
This
saying.
is weird.
We are so off.
It's weird. We've done a mini series across the last couple episodes talking about 80s love ballads.
Yes.
And I feel like you just discounted everything. Chicago.
No,
Phil Collins.
no.
Journey. And you're like,
Here's the thing about Chicago, though.
on all that crap, I want to listen to Motorhead. And it's like, why can't you listen to both?
Yeah, you can. You can.
This part where he just Whoa. It was like 6th grade dances at the school to bring that song on, and you'd have to slow dance.
Just this. Just how we're
That was and then he comes in. So let me paint another picture for you.
and you're supposed to dance slow with a girl.
That
to
was
song.
elementary school, junior high dances.
Impossible.
So when we were in college, we were throwing. Yeah.
Do you think Charles Leclerc likes Journey?
Yeah. He plays piano. He knows that.
He knows how to
those
play-
chords. We just talked about my van loading it up with DJ stuff. We'd throw house parties in college, and we'd always end with either Journey Faithfully or Hero by Enrique Iglesias.
Oh, that one is a
And
solid.
everyone would just be cheering
Solid
and
choice.
singing because you need to end the night on a slow jam.
I'm here for that.
Anyway.
As just one last note,
It's just weird.
because I feel like there's 80s. That's 80s pop rock.
Okay.
The 80s pop had some amazing stuff
I
too.
don't think that this is an honest take.
What?
Because we've been loving Phil Collins and
I love Phil
Chicago
Collins.
and
Yes.
Peter Cetera.
Yeah, those are
Journey
artists.
And
Those are artists.
and Journey.
Journey was making Burger King grilled patties, which aren't bad. We've also discussed
Okay.
this.
You just don't. You
But
like
I-
one song by Journey.
Yes. I just think that, and I think the other ones are kind of, maybe
Just
it's an
don't
overplayed
Just
thing.
don't compare it to 80s
It's an
metal.
overplayed
Don't
thing.
compare it to 80s metal and rock.
It's the reason of the 80s is the like, wheel in the sky keeps on turning. I'm like,
Is that Hoobastank?
no, I'm saying that's the equivalent
It's
of
not Journey. Anyway,
Wheel in
wow.
the Sky's Journey.
No, it's not.
I swear it's Journey. Okay,
Someone check that.
off the rails this week. We can't get it on the
Anyway.
rails. I said Charles Leclerc is an obligatory.
All to say, the new Grand Tour has new hosts.
It does.
And I think it's not going to go well. And this is something that I wish that is it Wheel and Sky? Wow, you're right. Good job.
Can't continue. Sorry.
Good job. I just wish that like to give them a proper chance and just make it something new. Like kill the Top Gear name, let it like retire with the hosts.
Grand Tour, but yes,
And then
yeah,
kill
yeah.
Grand Tour off.
Yeah.
Let it all retire because we all know that you can't have that show without those three guys.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, I agree. It's like if you had named it Throttle and just
Throttle's a
invited
cool name.
the train watcher dude who's a weirdo,
Yeah.
then it would have been like,
And people have been
I'm-
like, oh, this
I'll
is a
watch
weird
it.
thing. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's watch that.
Yeah. And
See
then
if it's any good.
And then it's free from any sort of like comparison to the old guys.
Right.
Which we still like and follow because, yeah, they're great.
Because they're unbelievable TV personalities.
Yeah. And so comparing them by putting them in their same role, same show is just rough.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think and I honestly think again the dynamic that's also missing is that rapport, their familiarity, and that's going to take time. Even if they had done Throttle and brought in the train guy, I think one of the things that's going to struggle is that it's going to take 5-10 years before that guy feels comfortable with his co-hosts.
Yeah.
The way that James, Richard, and Jeremy felt. They've been doing Top Gear for how long? It's like 20, 30 years. It was ridiculous.
It's crazy the amount of seasons that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to expect of, again, independently successful people to just like mesh and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And you're going to set them up for failure. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about in terms of the world of motorsport pop culture.
I have one little nugget to throw at you before we move on.
Yeah.
That is F1 related.
Okay.
Did you see, and I swear on my life, this is the funniest gag because it is the opposite of the George Russell meme that you made.
Okay.
It in its own way, it is hilariously on point. Okay. Have you seen Valtteri Bottas posts about the Cadillac?
Yeah.
Okay.
Saw it.
It's brilliant.
Uh-huh.
I love it. I swear he's completely full of crap.
Okay. So like I saw it. And if
Right.
you haven't seen it, it's Valtteri Bottas going up to like an Escalade, I think.
Yeah.
And he's looking at
And
it, he's
he
like, is
says,
this a Cadillac?
No, he
Are
says,
there
do you
seats?
like this
the
seat? Yeah.
There's 2 seats and they're open, they're free. And he's like admiring the seat. And it's so you don't
I think it's a gag. I
you
think it's
he's
100%
like,
a gag.
I'm here, I'm doing this bit. Cadillac is not talk to me at all yet.
Yeah.
But they might after this.
But they might. And I just think it's just such a funny bit because that's, if I've learned anything about Valtteri over the last few years, is that he is so funny deep down.
Yeah.
And this has got everybody talking like, maybe it isn't Sergio Perez. Maybe it isn't Colton Herta.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
it's still
No,
Sergio
it's a good
Perez
move.
and Colton Herta.
But no, it's a great move comparing it to the George Russell play.
Yeah, because George is big like, I removed Mercedes
Yeah.
from my title,
Yeah.
from my handle.
Yeah.
I don't have it on my profile.
Yeah. And they're like, are you still here? Oh, you are still here. Son of a bee.
I thought we already signed someone. Do we still have George?
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. I mean, I had a couple of grievances. Not grievances.
Okay. Let's move on. But anyways.
Well, it's about George, but I also like the F1 movie's coming out this week.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I'm excited for that.
I am too.
Yeah.
It's actually done pretty well in like Metacritic and
good.
and like
I don't
Rotten
need to hear
Tomatoes.
anything else. I've stopped watching trailers weeks ago.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm just like, I know what
I'm
it's
not.
about.
I'm not a big trailer guy.
You
anyways.
sold me whenever I heard that you're doing an F1 movie.
Right,
You
right.
sold me then.
Right.
Years ago.
Yeah, I saw that reel of Brad passing out in Vegas, and I can't wait.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
That was the best trailer I've seen.
I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast before, but I still am constantly getting people being like, did you know there's an F1 movie coming up? I'm like, and they're asking me because they know I do a podcast and they like, I love F1. I'm like, yes.
I've stopped.
Yes.
I've stopped being good at answering that question. I'm like legit. Like I looked at my neighbor the other day, and she's so nice.
Yeah.
she's so nice. She's like, Mike, what do you think about this F1 movie coming out? Are you gonna see it? And I felt so bad because I immediately laughed.
Yeah.
and was like, I had just seen that meme because there is a very good meme that was circulating like. My face every time someone asks me if I'm gonna go see the F1 movie, and it was like maybe that Ben Affleck like standing outside his
Yeah,
apartment with a cigarette.
Just done over it.
I've been asked so many times, and so all I could think was that, and so I just started laughing at
Yeah.
her face, and I was like, "I'm so sorry. Yes, I am gonna go see."
I mean, the other thing that I do is I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go see it. And then I'm like, do you want to know about it?
Yeah, yeah,
And they're
yeah.
like, no. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
like-
going to tell you how they made it. Did you know they made a whole team for it? And they raced on the track with real drivers. So the drivers that you see on the track in real races are going to be in the movie. That's crazy. And they're like, I just needed a yes or no. And it's like, so no, I can't get out of this.
They're like,
we can't escape.
camera special for the movie. I can't wait.
I'm like, every time I went to a race, there was always rumors that they were filming part of it there. I've known for years. So there's no way we can get out of this.
No.
I don't know. I think it's just like, oh yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I can't wait. I heard Brad Pitt's in it.
Bradley Pitts stars.
He's in the pits.
He's gonna be in the pits.
And did you know that sometimes they call the garages pits?
Yeah, they say box, but for him they say pits.
Anyway, I'll see you there.
See you there, June 27th.
Yeah, that's the proper response now.
It does-
And I'm not there yet.
It does feel a bit taboo, but I am anxious to see it.
I got tickets for you.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to Venmo you.
Yeah.
You guys are seeing this awkward exchange.
You can do it.
the
You can do it later.
podcast.
You can do it later. But yeah, that's this week, and I'm excited for it. I did go start looking at movie theaters for the Helmet popcorn bucket.
Cinemark.
Yeah, they didn't have them at Cinemark yet,
Okay.
or so I'll keep checking.
They liked our post when I made a post about it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I mean,
so shout out to Cinemark.
famous.
Famous.
Yeah. Okay, that's all the pop culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, here's my one take. Again, I haven't listened to the soundtrack yet, which has been out for too long.
I pre-ordered the vinyl. I'm expecting it to come to look really cool and to be full of terrible songs.
But here's the best part is that I'm like, man, have I gotten to be such an old man? They're like hyping all the artists, and I'm like, oh, Ed Sheeran. I know who he is.
I don't know anyone on there.
Yeah, but other than him, I'm
Yeah.
like, who are the rest of these freaking people?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then I
anyone.
heard the Ed Sheeran song, and I was like, hey.
It's a little too on the nose.
It is. It's
You need a Peter Cetera doing an obscure love ballad that has nothing to do with karate, nothing to do with F1.
80s sentiments. We have to bring it back.
This was Ed Sheeran's time to be like, oh, I'll do your song.
Yeah.
But it's gonna have no reference to cars at all.
But
It will make you weep
I feel like that's what they did.
by how much it shows how love can be between two people.
I actually kind of wish that he had done that.
Yeah, I'm saying.
But what they did
Yeah.
was that they were like, what's car culture? And
Yeah.
this is one of those things where if we really want to talk about me going off the rails on a rant,
Yeah.
car culture on Motor Trend and across America media is always this Ed Sheeran song. It's Chip Foose and Overhaulin'. And like, oh, have you ever seen an Overhaulin' episode?
No.
It wasn't terrible, but I will also jump to say it's the Netflix show that you hated. What was the thing that you hated about that?
Oh, the Gotham Garage one.
Yeah.
From Rust to Riches or something.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
way we're gonna make delivery on
order the tires overnight? There's no way the client, who's a heart surgeon, is
Yeah.
going to be able to buy this
And
car.
there's just like
Then the
all
next
these
day,
gargoyle piercings, and like
our client is a heart surgeon, and he's going to need cardiac arrest when he sees what we did to his car. It's like, none of it makes sense.
but he also, pun intended, loves vampires. So we made the car blood red.
Okay, it's that. It's the worst.
So like I hear this Ed Sheeran song and I'm just like, that sounds like a typical car song.
It sounds
car
like
movie song.
what movie producers would think car people want to hear.
Exactly.
They're like, can you write a song for our movie? And he wrote like a love song. They're like, hey, now can you Mad Lib style just put in car terms?
Yes. Yeah,
We're
yeah,
going to take out all the descriptors and we're just going to put in car terms.
Yeah.
You're an exhaust.
Right.
I'm exhausted when I'm not around you. I'm burning rubber for your love. My engines are revving for you. Let's move this into overdrive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
These are the things that felt really wrong
This
so far.
is why every single Will I Am F1 theme song he's tried to get off the ground is awful.
is terrible.
It's too on the nose.
In fact, actually, I think probably the best reference to Cars.
Yeah.
Well, the band Cars also rules, but keep that one in mind.
I know. Next week will be that love ballad.
Yeah.
Drive.
is so good.
It's amazing.
It's one of the best songs. Okay, but on the rails.
This podcast just become 80s love ballads. Okay.
But I would say that like one of the best, and it is the stereotype, but they were like the first ones to do that stereotype. Was Metallica's the like, give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. That song to me was like, oh, sick.
That's cool.
It's dope.
Yeah.
But since then, I feel like now everything is that song. And
yeah.
I'm like, no, that song did that song.
Yeah.
Can we have a different song for Cars now? But I don't know. If you want to talk to me about car culture, I'd rather hear Roy Orbison than hear a lot of what car music goes.
There was a Roy
along
Orbison
with.
song in the Earnhardt series.
Oh,
I
yeah.
Shazammed it, and I was like, is this Roy Orbison? And I was like, good song. And that hit. It's
Yeah.
like the first 10 minutes of the whole series. I was like, oof.
So good.
Yeah, let's get that song into F1.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's just better choices. So,
Dang.
Max and I, if we were the executive producers of Formula One's F1 movie,
Yeah, for sure.
we would have chosen a different music supervisor
Yeah.
than the one they chose.
But I'm excited.
We should have expected that from the F1 75 show, I guess, where Machine Gun Kelly performed.
We can be thankful that Machine Gun Kelly is not in this movie.
At
He
least
might
to our
be.
knowledge.
Or, yeah,
To our knowledge.
Yeah.
I haven't checked yet.
See how awful that would be is if he shows up as like a celebrity cameo. I will walk out of the theater. I will throw my like F1 helmet popcorn bucket at the
Apex
screen
helmet.
and walk out. Sick of it.
The final nail in the coffin.
And it would suck. I did see an interview with Bradley Pitts talking about how Lewis Hamilton has been like a good producer. And I'm like, that sounds promising because Lewis Hamilton has been able to help out with like even the editing, being like, oh, the car's not going to make that noise going around that corner.
Right,
That's the
right.
noise it makes when it's on this part of the track, not that part. If you want it to be accurate, let's get this all synced up. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah. And those are nuances that people probably won't appreciate,
Yeah.
but it will improve the immersive experience.
for sure.
100%.
So is Lewis behind? If Machine Gun Kelly shows up in the movie, I will blame Lewis
I think it's only fair.
because he's probably like, maybe that's why he's showing up so much.
Yeah.
What if Lewis Hamilton's a secret big Machine Gun Kelly fan, which would be awful. Another reason to get
He's
back on
like-
the hate train.
He's like, I've been waiting so long to announce my next collaborative music
Gosh.
experience. Last time it was X Tina. This time it's Machine X Gun
Gosh.
X Kelly.
Machine Gun's already moved on to a new genre. He's
Yeah.
doing pop,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like boy band pop,
really?
and dancing.
Is it like K-pop?
Almost. It's close. I'm dead serious. And people meme it to heck because it's like, this is what happens when Eminem destroys your career in a rap battle.
you just
You have nothing left.
you slowly lose your identity to an absurd level.
It's so bad.
That's amazing.
Okay, gosh. What are we talking about?
I don't know, but we started 45 minutes
This
ago.
is great. Okay. I did have one thing on my mind, particular about Formula One.
Okay.
And it is about, so everyone, not everyone, but like from my knowledge, a lot of Formula One drivers have some sort of like, I don't want to say agent or manager or stylist, but they have someone who's like on their side, kind of like helping them out.
Yeah.
Like Oscar Piastri has Mark Webber.
Right.
And Carlos Sainz has his brother or his cousin.
His cousin, yeah.
Like
And his dad.
Yeah. And his dad. Lewis Hamilton has like Roscoe, like the bulldog.
Roscoe, Angela, and his dad.
And his dad.
Yeah.
George Russell needs to fire his parents because I know it's his parents.
and we've never seen them.
And we've never seen them, but I know his parents are the ones telling him how to be cool,
How to yabba dabba do
how
on
to
the
yabba
radio.
dabba do, and he needs to fire them. We make fun of him so much, and I'm offering my services now, being like, George,
Wow, this is big of you.
because I can fix you.
You can.
I can fix you.
You've been listening to too much Coldplay. That you're feeling sentimental and ready to
He
fix
needs
George
a better
Russell.
team. He needs a better team. And I know it because like his parents are helping him out. And they have never been to a concert. This
is a
They have
revelation.
never stepped outside of the estate other than to go see George race. They've never been to a party.
No.
And so they are the ones who is like, you know what, George?
They're like,
Okay, but
is this booze?
is this what the common folk call booze?
Doesn't look much more different than the typical beverage.
Feed it to the dog and let the butler lap it up, and then we will continue drinking the champagne.
Would someone please bring me some dirt in a hot water pot?
Can we
Quickly.
I want to watch the butler lap this up out of the dog bowl. I think it's time to do so. I had this. Imagine this. This is what happened. The night before the Canada Grand Prix, George has already taken pole position.
Yes.
You know he's in a giant suite. His parents are there. And they are helping him practice because George is excited.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you going to do when you win?
They're like, yeah, come on,
They're like, we have some suggestions for you, son. They're like, you know that really cool, clever thing you do in the F1 intro?
make sure to highlight it.
You can do that on top of your car. Why not when you win, you get out and you stretch forth your hands and you do the same thing you do that everyone loves you for.
I'm just wondering,
And they're drinking tea.
have you tried doing it while the car's in motion? Potentially as you cross the line. Is it possible, George?
I guarantee George got up on like a little like ottoman and they're like, practice for us, George. And he was like doing his dumb little thing.
Is this what you mean, Dad?
And he's like, perfect, son, perfect.
Father.
Perfect. The crowd will love it.
They're like, don't forget to put your head down.
The common folk will love it.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, the plebs, the peasants, they live for that kind of stuff. So I'm saying they need to be fired.
Yeah.
George, you're capable of a lot more.
It's time to resign.
You're capable of so much more.
I agree with that.
And I hate to see a good opportunity go to waste.
Right.
So yeah, please.
I mean, Lewis
Reach out to the fast ones.
Lewis had a break. There was a time where Anthony Hamilton was not welcome in the paddock anymore. And Lewis had
Oh.
to have a separation from his dad. And I feel like that was the period where Lewis really discovered Lewis Hamilton.
Got some tattoos.
Yeah.
Some cornrows.
Dated a pussycat doll. I mean,
Dude went off.
I hate to be so literal, but,
then
like,
he did. And then he dated every other model
Right.
celebrity girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, George, ditch the parents.
This is what's your problem,
Let
bro.
the fast ones consult.
Yeah.
We will do it for one free ticket to a Grand Prix.
get you a pussycat doll to date you. She's only 20 years older than you.
we could sub in someone.
Yeah.
There's probably a K-pop group. Who's Jenny? Who's that girl that sings Jenny?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure she would love to go to an F1
You're
race.
a DJ. You know more about this than I do.
It's true. This is where I come in on this side of the consulting.
I'm still over here listening to Thin Lizzy and Deep Purple. We've discovered.
I mean, us combined, we'll
Yes.
be able to provide a really cool, well-rounded, awesome George Russell.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to like, George, you're hanging out with Brad Pitt at all these movie premieres. Shave your head.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Get a little edge. Stop with the center part fluffy hair.
We've said it. Guy Ritchie is we need to just aim at some Guy Ritchie Brad Pitts.
Yeah.
And George, you figured it out, my
Yeah.
friend. You figured it out.
I don't know, like maybe get a couple neck tattoos.
Yeah, just like the ones that's got the line right here, from the ear down. just the ear down. It just looks like an earring almost.
Get like get Canada GP.
Yabba dabba doo down the neck. No one has to be able to see it or read it. Dude, it would be sick.
And do you know how many girls would want to get their lips on that tattoo?
Yeah, they'd be like,
Yabba dabba do, yes.
they want to yabba dabba do it.
Yes.
Yes.
See, George, we've said some mean things about you in the past, and I stand by them because they're accurate. But like, I do think that there's hope, and like, you are a good driver. But let us help you just become a little cooler. There's a lot of fans out there that would root for you if you're just cool.
Well, and your confidence is going to hit a new level. You'll perform better on track
Yeah.
if you know that people are just like on your team.
Yeah. Does it feel good to stand in the little meme pose and let everyone around you cheer Kimmy's name?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't.
Doesn't feel
It doesn't feel good. We could fix that.
Okay.
If you call 1-800-FAST-ONES,
Yeah.
one call, that's all. How many legal firms could I rip off right now?
No,
with
just
all-
message us on Instagram. The best way to get in touch with us.
Fast ones.
But yeah.
Watcher, listener, level diamond, as Max has been pitching a multi-level marketing scheme for our listeners.
Yeah, that's my thought about George Russell. When he got off and did that like dumb pose, I was like, this is a new low, man.
Yeah.
I know that you think it's funny. It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not. There's better
And Fernando
things out
Alonso
there.
has some goofy celebrations that you
Yeah.
can watch, and they're cool.
And they're
because
great.
they're funny
You know,
and great.
here's a side tangent that I won't live in for too long, but I've said this to you. I listened to We're Here to Help, which has Jake Johnson from New Girl, who played Nick Miller, and Gareth Reynolds, who's a stand-up comedian. They had a caller call in because his class would always argue with him, and there was a whole debacle there that he was like trying to figure out in his 6th grade. Like, these kids are discovering who they are. They're arguing, whatever. So he came up with this thing called Hot Takes. And the kids would present weekly on like Fridays what their hot take was and kind of establish what their opinion was on something and then go hard. They had to defend it.
Okay,
And let
kind
the
of funny.
Let the
Yeah,
class
it's funny.
just like be like, no, I don't agree with you, and just stand there and defend it.
Yeah.
Until they were blue in the face. And like, they ranked, one kid ranked cereals, and they all went through it, and they were like, okay, we could do that or whatever. And then the next week, a kid came back and he was like, I changed my mind. I hate all cereal. Cereal's overrated. And it was like, and then he had to defend it. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because there is some psychological genius to this. If someone would have forced me at 6th grade to have a stance on Chicago and being like, no, they're a great rock band of that era, and people being like, they were a pop group,
Yeah.
I would have defended it till I was blue in the face,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I think that part of what that is what's almost missing from George is I almost feel like, do you have a position other than the worst opinion? Give me some hot takes, let people rebuttal you and fight back, because the only thing that I've seen from him is the worst.
Well, another reason
the
why-
Drake approach of being like, I'm holding a press conference.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, That's why it feels like parents are helping him along. Because if you're in a fight at school with a bully, you tell your parents and they're like, well, I'm going to talk to the teacher. You should go talk to the teacher and let them talk to them. And and then that's what you get when you have George Russell sitting behind Toto Wolff giving a press conference about how Max is mean.
This Toto Wolff is a helicopter parent.
Yeah.
Is not allowing him to fight his own fight.
No, George, get on the track and beat him. You did it.
Right.
Keep doing it.
Exactly.
Get out there and fight. We don't like people running behind teachers.
No, and I don't think Toto Wolff sees himself as a helicopter parent, but he's having to be one.
Yes. And that's why he's so in love with Kimmy.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't you be? You finally get to the point. For those of our watchers who have gotten all the way to this point in the episode, we finally made a good point.
Yes.
We finally arrived at what we were hoping for this whole episode. But this is the very simple reality of why Kimmy would be your number one.
Yeah.
And what you were hoping for in the future.
Yeah. For real.
Which is why I don't think Max is going to go to Mercedes. I do think the Aston Martin thing is a real deal.
Yeah. Carlos Sainz maybe to Mercedes. Maybe. We'll see.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, we'd all be okay with that. Okay. Lastly, Austrian Grand Prix.
The Österreich Ring is this week. This track has been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's short and sweet, but it is fun.
I mean, last year, Lando crashed into Max. Max crashed into Lando, whatever that was.
Yeah, whatever you want to say.
And then George was disqualified because his car was underweight.
That was Belgium.
That was Belgium?
Yes.
Okay.
So Spa. But George did win the race because of this happening. Because of Lando.
That's right. I knew there was
Max
some way
taking
George
her out.
snuck onto the podium.
Yes.
Okay.
So he was in third and managed to win because he was nowhere near the lead when they crashed.
So yeah, fun track.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see. McLaren's, the rivalry might be heating up.
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah, which would be great.
And I hope Oscar just continues to be
Yeah.
solid as a rock and Lando be like, I'm going to try passing baby and crash.
But like, and now Mercedes looks like they're stepping their game up. Red Bull's Max at least is still up there.
There's a really weird statistic that I saw
What's that?
that was posted, which is that Ferrari is the only team to finish every lap this year.
Oh, weird.
Both Lewis and Charles have finished every single lap.
DNFs.
No DNFs and finished every single lap. And I'm like, that is a very interesting stat.
It is an interesting
At the
stat.
end of the season, that stuff does add up in the constructors.
Yeah, consistency is a long game.
It is for sure. It's definitely not the most exciting game,
No,
but it does give results.
It gets results. Yeah, but you have to be fast and consistent.
Yeah, which is they're
halfway
missing,
there.
They're missing a little bit of the
little
fast
piece of the puzzle.
Yeah,
But that's interesting.
yeah. I mean, it means good things for them as they move forward. If they find reliability in the current PU, that means in the next one that they're probably close.
Yeah. Okay. It should be a fun race this weekend.
They
Hopefully.
burned down a lot of cars. What, 2 years ago? I swear Carlos Sainz had a season where it was just like every week his car was on fire.
That's true.
So-
Yeah. And we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Any other thoughts leading into Austria? It's a very fast, very straightaway track.
Okay.
There's some high speed section in the middle, but for the most part, there's just a lot of straightaway. It's the far left on the third row.
That one?
Yep,
Oh, Red Bull Ring. I was just going to ask.
Yeah.
This is the home of Red Bull.
correct.
So
Austria.
Max is going to be super fast.
Yeah, Österreich Ring, as I've been saying,
Yeah.
is the original name for the racetrack. It's been around longer than Red Bull. They bought the track.
Oh, they bought the track.
Yeah. So
Man, I feel like they just have so many cards stacked for them.
yeah.
No other team bought a track for them.
I kind of wish that like Hockenheim Ring, which was the German track, which Hockenheim was awesome. I kind of wish that like Mercedes had bought it or like Porsche or somebody to give like some kind of like the Porsche Ring,
It's still
type of
weird,
name to
yeah.
it. But anyways, it was just Hockenheim. But there was a big Mercedes emblem on this. So maybe it was owned by Mercedes and they
Maybe.
just didn't do it.
It's still weird that Germany doesn't have a race.
Yeah.
It's so much German motorsport.
I know. Well,
and
and
German drivers.
it was weird when Sebastian was, top of his game and they dropped the German Grand Prix.
When year was it? Put you on the spot.
Probably 2017. I
Oh,
want to say.
so recent.
Yeah.
Before I started watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they did a Nürburgring during COVID.
Oh, that's right.
But the Nürburgring short track,
Yeah.
not the green
Yeah.
hell.
Okay, that sounds right.
So, but yeah, at the last German Grand Prix at Hockenheim was probably like somewhere around 2017, 2018. So,
Well, we needed to make way for Miami. We needed more space for Miami and Las Vegas, and we're all happy about that.
well, and we saw Barcelona or Madrid. Is it a Madrid track that's being added next year? Has dropped Imola, so Imola is not on the calendar next year.
Oh,
And that
I mean,
that's the thing.
as someone who's new to the sport, I don't have any loyalty to heritage tracks.
Yeah.
And as someone who's also new to the sport, I'm like, some of these tracks that are on the calendar every single year, the drivers know them so well. And that provides really accurate, really awesome lines and racing.
Right.
But also when COVID hit and we had those random off tracks.
Like Mugello. We talked about. Mugello was awesome.
The racing was crazy because the drivers aren't very familiar with it.
No.
So you get a lot of variety in the race.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I think it's kind of fun to mix up the calendar and give us some of that unexpected, like, well, can you deal?
Yeah.
How good are you? You don't know this track. We're gonna find out.
Yes.
I frick around and find out is a great way to run F1. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. What's our time at?
Our time is at 1 hour.
Awesome.
Hour.
Well, we'll close by throwing shade at all the other podcasts.
Yeah, which
that's
we
part
promised.
of the title.
That's what we promised.
Yeah.
There's one about it's got a certain color flag.
Why we're doing this.
You guys, you know what? Here, I'll make a bet.
Yeah, what's your bet?
If you guys want to pick just one opinion, one take, one hot take. Speaking, I'm going to stay on theme. If you could pick one theme that you can have a hot take for the entire season on, I will listen to an episode. But also, we could have a conversation about it.
Okay, yeah. Great.
I might change my opinion.
Great
It's
theme.
not likely.
I was gonna say a lot of this a lot of this comes out of the fact that like I feel like I'm jealous of these people that have followings.
I'm not jealous. Their podcast is stupid.
I'm just thinking of Instagram.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what takes off and what doesn't.
Yeah.
But like some girls on Instagram are now going to every single race. And the content, Mike, it's very basic.
These are brakes. The car stops.
One thing you didn't know about the Canadian
And
Grand
look,
Prix
I'm
is
not
it
just-
takes place in Montreal. They speak French there. Put a comment if you know a French word.
And I don't mean to make that
5
condescending.
million views.
Yeah. I don't mean to make that condescending like women don't know what brakes are.
We're coming off very bitter right now.
That's not. I love being bitter.
Yeah.
Bitter is a character builder.
Okay. Yeah.
Character bitter.
Yeah. Let's see them make jokes
But-
like this. Let's see an F1 podcast talk about Lilo and Stitch and weave it into a conversation about how George's parents are teaching him how to celebrate.
That's all I'm saying. But like, I don't look like I think that Henry is a great F1 content creator.
Henry's the best.
Because he's trying all sorts of things. He's got lots of different trends that he's mixing with F1 content.
Oh, yeah.
It's creative. It's not being like, so when a wing has air going over it, it provides downforce.
I mean, maybe
we could do more of that.
we should do
but,
that. This
you
week
know,
I'm doing dumb content.
yeah, let's
dumb
just,
content.
Just make really stupid
I am just going
content.
to whatever Cadence Breaking puts out. I am just going to remake that.
We should.
I am remaking everything Cadence does this week. Every day I will remake one reel.
Why don't we just go and let's just pick a handful of Will Buxton really obvious quotes from Netflix and just recreate those.
Yeah. Let's do it.
In order to finish first you must finish.
Yeah. Dude. It's great.
And that's the real.
That's the real.
Like, subscribe. Tell your friends we're gonna make some great content.
Yeah. Tell your friends good content is coming. So far, content has been not good.
Slim.
No, it's great. We were just talking before this show. I feel like I don't see people being able to and free to talk about whatever they want. Like we divert through 80s pop love ballads and Lilo and Stitch and George Russell and Top Gear all in one episode. And I don't see that in a lot of other people. So
Right, and this is an off
I guess
week.
we're going to start doing what other people do.
Yeah, we've tried that though. It's boring.
Yeah. I think we should. I don't. Yeah.
But I do think that one thing that is great about having a podcast in Formula One loosely is that we can get around to it at some point. So thank you for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
We do appreciate your presence. You guys awesome.
No, I don't think we're bitter at all. I think this is.
I don't think we're bitter at all. We're not bitter.
We're not. Like every week I get to talk with Mike, my buddy, about cars, and I get to make fun of George Russell. And
We're not bitter.
and it's a lot of fun. Like I said, we're over 100 episodes deep into this, and every episode has been a lot of fun to record. So we need to cut this whole part.
Okay,
of the
we're gonna
episode
go.
out.
Yeah.
This whole ending is terrible.
You guys
Splice
are
it
awesome.
in anyway. Thanks for joining us today. It's been a great episode. We hope you guys like, subscribe, share, all the things. Follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, message us, and then feel free to ask questions. We love answering fan questions. Anyway, enjoy the race this weekend. See you next week.